very fruity, if you will.
And in the mead fridge downstairs.
Yeah. Well, our best seller that we sell on tap and by the mead. It's a carbonated mead, lightly carbonated. It's not as much as say as a excuse me, a cider or beer would have. 5%. So I call it adult Kool-Aid for a lot of people that want to come in. We have a lot of wine drinkers that come in. They want to try something light because they're hitting when they're hitting each one of them. But we sell that in a 12-ounce can, and we sell it on tap.
Okay.
So that's one of our most popular ones.
I'll go dig back through them and see what I got.
Yeah, if you're out, I'll send you some more.
Cool. I mean, they say this pawpaw just blown me away, though. This is really good. I like it.
I started playing around with that. Took a trip to the Ohio Pawpaw Festival. I guess it's been about 10 years ago now, and brought back some seedlings. And then harvested the seeds out of that and planted those. So, like I said, I got about 40 or 50 trees that I've cultivated out of, and I got about 40 or 50 more trees that's of the wilder variety that sort of grew off those or just naturally in North Georgia. And that's on the farm. And then down here where my house is, not on the farm, I got about 20 more trees and about 10 that I'm raising from seeds that I've cultivated, just the bigger fruit, if you will, that produces a little bit better fruit. So I'm very picky about the seeds that I pick out of those and baby them, if you will, for weeks on, get them cold set, and then I'm ready to grow them.
Hang on. Tracy's having an issue.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she's trying to listen to us on the site, and for whatever reason, it's giving fits right now. So, yeah, it's like technology issues, and that unfortunately, there isn't much I can do about it except it just either works or it doesn't work. Yeah, so you got trees scattered all over the place. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I got one section of the farm that I'm just where I keep some of the hives at and some of the pawpaw trees, because obviously the honeybees do not pollinate pawpaw trees. It takes a smaller fly, if you will. So I have the small flies, the bugs and stuff. That's what pollinates pawpaws because the flowers are so small. But I got another 15 acres right next door to that I've been planting more sourwood trees. So I want to have more sourwood honey, come fall time.
Oh, that'll be nice. Sourwood. Yeah. Sourwood's a great varietal, and I love it. It's very, very tasty, and it's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Usually that's the South Georgia, Alabama honey mostly, isn't it?
Alabama, you get into Tupelo, South Georgia, Tupelo. To get more up in the mountains of North Georgia and into the Carolinas, you get a lot of the sourwood.
That's where the sourwood is?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really nice.
30 trees this time, but we're going to probably set out. We'll try to do 20 or 30 trees every year, just sort of keep them going.
Yeah, that's kind of the tack I'm taking right now. Is I'm buying 2 cherry trees and 2 peach trees, and then hopefully going to get my hands on a couple of pawpaw trees. Plus, I'll plant those seeds and see where that gets me. And then, my husband's like, "Look, I'm going to put you on like a 4 tree a year budget." Because I'm like, I want
to do all of it, Yep. Probably a reasonable budget.
Huh?
4 trees a year is a reasonable budget. They're a lot of work to put in. You don't want to kill yourself.
Well, and that's the thing. It's a lot of work to put in. Plus, there's the managing, getting them through the first couple of years till they're, rooted well and growing well and big enough that the deer don't chomp them down at the first opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of where I'm at. I figure I'm going to plant all my pawpaw seedlings. I'll plant those in deep, like barrels or something, inside the garden fence so the deer don't munch them down. Yeah.
Just remember, it takes, right around 7 or 8 years, especially for the wilder variety, to actually start producing.
Yeah, it takes what it takes. We're going to give her a shot and see what happens.
The best time to plant them was 8 years ago.
Right, yeah. It's like I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time, but I never had I talked about doing it when we lived in North Carolina, but now I got 20 acres.
Yeah. I guess the next best time is now, huh?
The next best time is now, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've joined obviously a lot of pawpaw forums and stuff, and I've seen where there's more people starting to get more aware of the fruit and stuff. So that's a good thing, you know. So it's not just as it's not a rare fruit like you think it was anymore.
Well, yeah, I'd say it's not quite as unknowable. And one of the biggest problems, of course, is the fact that nobody really knows what it is because you can't get the dang things unless you pick them right off the tree.
Right. Yeah, there's
You
not
know?
there's a couple little small, I won't even call them farmers market, but it's just like roadside stands where sometimes they might have some in the fall. You might see a handful of a half a dozen or a dozen of them. That'd be about it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just
Well,
don't
I mean,
last long.
there were
Yeah.
you put it on the counter and you turn to the sink to get a glass and you turn back and they're rotten. You
Yep.
know, I mean, it's like they're
Yeah.
and they're squishy anyway. You know, so
Yeah.
I sliced them open and picked all the seeds out, and then me and a couple of friends sat there with spoons and just basically scooped out the innards and ate it. You know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
could figure out a
Usually,
way to get one up to Canada without it like completely dying, I would. You
might
know,
freeze to death up there.
well, thinking about sending some of the fruit. I send AJ goodies that she can't get up there.
Okay.
You know, so like pawpaw fruit, some of the varietal honeys that are hard. The varietal stuff down here,
Yeah.
they don't ship to Canada, so
And
Right.
orange blossom. We don't grow oranges in this country.
yeah,
Anywhere.
yeah. Except maybe
There
in
is no,
people's
there is
like
no
green
local
rooms
orange
or
blossom
something.
honey. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like orange blossom. I like working with that one.
it's funny how much difference there was between Florida orange blossom, California orange blossom, and then Mexico orange blossom.
Hmm.
Huge difference. I didn't expect there to be that much of a difference, but there was.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I get a chance to sample some Spanish orange blossom at some point.
I might. Let me look and see if I've got any of that in my stash. I don't think I do. Some of them I only had like the little, the little sampler jar things, which I sent you like a bunch of sampler jars. So when the shipment finally gets to you, you'll see.
Hmm. I've got some Spanish orange blossom that I bought maybe a year and a half ago. I
Yeah.
bought a couple of 5-gallon buckets full because, like you said, I want to try different flavor profiles and
Yep.
see what really makes a good mead. Like I started out using gallberry honey because I love the flavor of gallberry honey. But to
Mhm.
me, whenever I make a mead from gallberry, I don't get a lot of flavor profile. It's just kind of bland. So
Yeah.
I pretty much quit using it. Plus, it was hard to get.
Yeah, I was to say it's not exactly a common honey.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, if you get to the point where you're producing enough sourwood,
Oh yeah.
you go to town with that. I mean, that's people get an arm and a leg for that because it's
Yes, I
it's like
do.
Tupelo. It's hard to come by.
Yeah.
And if there's a bad year, well, forget it.
Yeah. I think Gordon Strong told me when I was sitting for my last the Mead BJCP license. He said if you ever want an award winner, always use Tupelo. He said it always wins awards. Like okay,
Yeah. Some of the if you want to try the other orange blossoms, get some of the orange blossom that Be Seasonal has. Theirs is the Mexican, or at least it was. And they've got sample jars of a lot of their stuff. So, if you want to get a little jar and say, is this something I really want to get, kind of thing.
right,
But spend them.
okay, awesome.
Yeah. But that's where you're going to get you'll get the Mexican orange blossom there. And if you go to, what's this? Z Specialty in California.
Yeah, I think when I took the that was one of the visits we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got a good orange blossom, and their prices are not unreasonable. And if you, I don't know, right, you can get the coupons because he does coupons a couple of times a year.
Yeah, it wasn't the honey, the pricing that was scaring me off.
Yeah, shipping is like stupid expensive.
Yeah, I'm having to revamp. I'm gonna be revamping some of my. I'm just gonna instead of me trying to figure out the shipping costs and how to do a discount, I'm just gonna do free shipping and just I might give some discounts on the meat itself, but I'll always include free shipping when
Say, if you're
when I get a
including,
bucket.
if you're doing free shipping, that is huge.
Yeah, I think that I feel like the prices have come down since COVID, but they're still a
Not a
little
lot.
pricey. So.
It's not a lot. I mean, it's somewhat better, but it's still pretty bad. And of course, with fuel prices now, everything's going back up again. So
Yeah, well, it's an ebb and flow kind of thing, but
it is. Yeah, it's cyclical, and it's. I know that's going to change over time, but in the meantime, I'm not buying things that require shipping that I have to pay for.
yep, you got that right.
Amazon Prime, man.
Yep, pays for itself.
Yep. But the idea of free shipping, I can't tell you how many orders abandoned on Vino Shipper because I get to okay, I've got 12 bottles in my cart, and I know I've got to do it all from. It gets complicated, but
Yeah.
and I get done and I go and it's like $175 for the meat and like I think I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah.
People wonder why I travel to the meaderies. I'm like, this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it too. I mean, shoot, I could drive for what it would if I wanted to buy from Manic Meadery in Indiana, which is a 4-hour drive away, get it and drive home for less than it would cost me to ship it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's just really. But,
yeah, one of the meads that I was making that I was trying out the different orange blossom was my Meaderita mead, and I've won a few awards with that. But it has an orange blossom base and finish to it, so it's mostly just lime and with orange blossom honey and give it that little kick, if you will.
Yeah, you should soak oak in tequila and tequila soaked oak.
I have
character,
I've done a tequila barrel before, and it was a very good seller. I've got a couple of barrel agents that I have. I've got some brandy barrels. I've got some rum barrels that I've done, and a couple of whiskey barrels. So I got a few that I'll have on the market. As soon as I get my license again, and so some of them turned out called Blackbeard's Revenge. I did that one a couple of years ago, and then I just did a new one about a year and a half called Blackbeard's Revenge 2 with some different vanilla notes to it, and it was aged in Caribbean rum barrels.
Nice. My attention. I love that idea. I just bought a 14-year-old bottle of. I actually for the first time in my life bought a Scotch that wasn't Glen Morangi, which I like because they do a sherry cask, 12-year sherry cask age. That's just divine. Well, this was a 14-year-old. What was it? Balvenie, I think it was, and it's aged in rum barrels, and I was just like, okie dokie then.
Yep.
A little bit more than I usually spend, but it was, oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that I did for that one, it was the cruising rum barrels, but I had a lot of, like I said earlier, I had a lot of luck with the Granny's apple pies. People just kind of like that with the apple pie spices and apples and stuff in North Georgia, especially in the fall. And so instead of a 5%, I went ahead and made a 12% and aged it in rum barrels. Rum barrels for that. And then I did another batch. I split the batch in two and did one in apple brandy barrel things, and I called that one Granny's Offer Rocker. So it was kind of a fun project.
That's a great name. I love it.
That is. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Having fun with barrels, man.
That's it. We need to do a whole thing for that. Fun with barrels. That's what you can call it.
Fun with barrels. Yep.
I
saw a guy just put a book out on it was oaking wines and meads, and he was talking about it in one of the mead groups. I haven't gotten it yet to check it out, but
yeah.
I love that we're other woods, so it's not just oak, so we're seeing people wood that Tracy's always going on about that I cannot. I just lost the word for it.
Now I'm drawing a blank too.
I know. It's like I was
Yeah.
hoping you'd be able to fix that for me. This getting old stuff sucks, doesn't it, Blair? You know,
Yeah.
you lose weirs. You're like, am I going senile? Oh my god.
I experimented. The weirdest one I did was a cypress wood.
Cypress,
The plate, yeah, because it'll give a pound cake kind of flavor.
Really?
Oh yeah. So
Amburana, that's it. Rob Barnhart's like,
Thank you, Rob.
Amburana. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, Amburana does some really interesting flavor profiles. It's just amazing. But Cypress does pound cake?
yeah, that's kind of the flavor profile I got out of it, and then I was going to use some metafoam honey to sort of bring that out a little bit better. So that's one of my projects for late 2026 is to kind of make that into a true pound cake kind of mead, if you will.
There you go. Yeah, you might take that with some like carrot honey and and if you can get something that tastes sort of cream cheesy, then you'd have carrot cake mead. I'm not quite sure how you'd get there, but that probably sell like hotcakes. I mean, I love me some carrot cake. I
don't know if I've had carrot honey before. Is that a thing?
It is a thing, and I actually finally got to taste it. It was at Val because they bring their honey library, and I've gotten, because of them, I've started a honey library, but they've got quite a few, and it's nice because if you're in the middle of judging and you're like, I have no idea what whatchamacallit honey is, well, hang on, they've got some over there. Let's go taste it, and we can figure out, what the profile looks like.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's a kind of cool thing. I take that with me when I go to beekeeping classes. It's amazing how little beekeepers know of honey in general.
Right.
They just know their honey, and they don't really think about like the greater honey world.
Yeah.
So it's all right. I mean, it's a hyper local kind of thing, but it's fun getting them to, they're like, oh, try this Spanish black walnut honey. And they're like, whoa, I had no idea.
Yeah. I think the funniest one I've had is water lily honey. It was crystal clear. It was weird and tasted like mint.
Huh.
Like, okay, that's different. So,
water lily honey. Yeah, I've never heard of that one. That's a new one for me.
That would explain why our honey has a hint of mint in it, because there's some ponds and stuff near us.
That could be. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Water lily. That is. I have never even heard of that.
Yep.
Huh.
Has a good mint flavor, just like okay, that's awesome. I'm not a big mint fan, but it's something that you can use in a recipe or something.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's just really cool. Rob was saying that carrot blossom is it's a Pacific Northwest thing. But it's a neat honey, and I liked it. I thought it was really good.
Does it taste like carrots?
No, it's a root vegetable honey, so it's got a bit of an earthy note to it, not surprisingly. I mean, beet honey probably does the same, but it doesn't really taste like carrots. It's hard to describe. I'd actually have to get it in front of me because I only tasted it like once or twice, so it's not.
Does it taste like sticking your nose in a Queen Anne's lace flower?
Maybe a little bit.
Because I mean, I know I think that's what most carrot blossom is, unless you're
pretty much, yeah. Oh, so Rob Barnhart's saying that basswood gives off mint flavors as well, which it does. Yeah, basswood's and it's also got kind of a almost a flinty note to it. And that's something you get around here is basswood, something that people find, and it's another one that's hard to find quantity. You can find jars of it, but finding a bucket of it is a whole other animal. And when you do, it's an arm and a leg.
Okay. Yeah, we've got lemon trees around ours too, so maybe that's it as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is. So you pretty much just stick with just a couple of honeys then at the meadery.
Wildflower mostly. Like I said, I was using gallberry. I've done the raspberries, the blackberry honeys. I got some tupelos, some sourwood, so I do use a pretty good bit of clover as well, and then the orange blossom. So yeah, maybe 5 or 7 honey, so to speak.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Browntown Meadery is saying carrot honey is spicy.
Oh, okay.
It is a little bit. I'm trying to like put the flavor into words, because it's not like, and it's carrots. It's, you wouldn't taste it and go, oh, this is carrots.
Was it orange?
No,
Yeah,
well,
no.
no more orange than any honey. I mean, it's like a medium honey in color. It's not like super dark, but it's not water white either.
Right.
So,
I know when I did some stuff for Moonlight and for Colony, they were both using orange blossom honey. For the most part, was their majority of their honey that they used.
Yeah, it's a good honey to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not which is more than you could say for Wildflower,
Right.
Because you never know what you're going to get there.
Yeah, because if I buy, say North Georgia, the flowers, obviously the flora is different, and so I get peppery notes.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little warmer, more so it is. Go back to consistency, and that's one of the things that I want to make sure that I'm focusing on if I'm going to have be more consistent with it. So making sure that type of honey, comes from the same place over and over again.
Yeah, if you want that kind of and the difference between the spring wildflower honey and the fall wildflower honey, there's a big difference. Mm-hmm. So,
we get the bulk of what we get for our spring and the bulk of what we get for our fall here.
Yeah. Apparently we're getting a fair amount in our honey around here. The same guy that bought the fancy new hive that I have been unable to find a price on was talking about the fact that the bees were going bananas for the autumn olives, and I was like, I didn't even think about them going to that, because I've got 80 gazillion of them in my yard because they're invasive, and I was going to kill each and every one of them with extreme prejudice, but now I've decided that I'm going to kill each and every one of them that is in the main part of my yard, and then leave the ones that are back out in the field and just keep an eye on them. And if they get too out of control, I'll whack a few of them down and put them in their place, But if the bees like them, between that and I'm gonna sling out some clover and grow some clover out there because they like that. And,
mm-hmm.
So I just keep looking at it going, I don't think I've got enough flowers. What are the bees going to have? What are they going to eat?
Honestly, bees are going to look. Bees are opportunistic, and they want the biggest thing they can find. So your bees.
Yeah. Well, we find
ours on the garlic chives flower late. And the only thing we really find our bees on my mom's whole property.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're going someplace else to eat, huh?
Well, yeah, they're going to find the linden trees that they want whatever's making the most nectar. They want the best bang for the buck, and then they'll all tell each other about that, and they're not going to go. They're not going to waste their time fighting the bumblebees for the dandelions.
Well, I'm hoping that mine all go, and they didn't have the chance this last year, but I'm hoping that mine all find and go to the blueberry farm that's less than a mile from here.
Ooh, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm really hoping they go, hey, dude over there found some blueberries. Let's go check it out. That'd be really awesome. And once I get enough going, and I've got strong hives, and I've got more than two, I'm gonna ask because the gal that owns the blueberry farm is one of my classmates from high school. So and so we kind of kept in touch over the years, and we've reconnected since I moved back home. But she's got like 30 acres of blueberries there, and that's where I go to get all my I go and I buy like buckets and buckets of them and freeze them, and
well, that might be a nice place if she wants you to do some pollination services.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is if she'd let me put a hive over there, at least I'd know that the bees were getting that,
Ooh.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Oh, Browntown Meadery is asking what branch he served at. He was in the chair force. The ones that they get the air conditioned hotel rooms and steaks for dinner while the army's eating meals refused by Ethiopians and and hanging out in the dirt and stuff. Did you do your full 20, Blair?
No, I just did 6.
Oh, okay. That's like my daughter. She did 8, and she medicaled out. So Army managed to destroy her knees and her backs.
Yeah. Yeah, I did 6, and then when I got out, I did a few things. Went to college, a few things, but I wound up working at the.
There you go. I have a buddy out west that he was Army, did his 20, got out, and then came back in as a contractor, so he double dipped.
There you go.
Good for him for a while, and he ended up with 2 retirements. So, oh yeah, Browntown saying he was Army. Hoorah, man! My daughter and son-in-law were Army. So whether or not my grandkids will go that route, it's hard to say.
Yeah. They'd be out of Space Force by then, maybe, right?
I know, right? Can't be like, yeah, I'm getting stationed on the moon. What? Wouldn't that be something? I'm hoping I live long enough to see, semi-permanent residences on another planet. That, I'm not holding my breath or nothing. I've only got about 25, 30 years left, but
Yeah, right.
but you never know. It could happen.
Can we put beehives up there?
I know, right? And it's like, yeah, they're gonna need to be able to grow stuff. Mark Watney,
Right.
Space Pirate. If you've seen The Martian, you'll know the reference. But growing potatoes on the moon.
Chances are they'll bring bumblebees or something instead if they're putting them in greenhouses, because a herd of honeybees is a bit too big.
Yeah, that is an awful lot to expect in a greenhouse. So.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some mason bees. We've got several of those down here.
Yeah.
Those small ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fortunately the killer bees haven't gotten this far yet. I don't know if they're in Georgia yet, but they were heading in that direction when I was still living in the South.
I know that I've heard some South Georgia, maybe North Florida area. So
yeah, it's like fire ants,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was in Georgia when the fire ants arrived, and it was like, no, we don't want them.
Furrow mites, though, they'll get everywhere eventually.
Oh yeah, they do. I know the fire ants have gotten. I don't know if they're north. Not they're close. Rob's going moon rock, honey.
Yeah.
Nectar on moon rocks, man. Or pollen.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't it though? That would be quite the thing. So you just you moved, and what? You went to a bigger facility, or what happened there?
No, actually, I downsized. It's basically just going to be another tasting room for me. It's not going to be true production. I'm going to set up production later in the year. But I wanted to it's a different side of town in this county. So I went because I was trying to get more traffic. About 4,000 traffic hits to now 11,000 traffic hits.
Oh.
So it was an old farm stand that uncle's side of the equation. They used to own it, and then sold it last year. And then this guy decided he wanted to lease it out. So I'm just going to do I'll say 98% tasting room there and 2% production.
Okay. That you had before.
No, I moved everything out. Just totally moved out. I've got it. Actually got it in storage, and that's kind of what happened. Tanks and stuff, and I didn't have enough people and equipment. So, but I've got it in like a little mini warehouse. I got to move production a little bit closer to where I live, because right now my tasting room is about 40 minutes from my house, and I want to try to be a little bit closer for the production. Just 20 minutes away for production and another 20 minutes for the tasting room.
Yeah. Okay.
Because in Georgia farm wineries allow different tasting rooms without having to do distribution. So that's part of my goal is, okay, I'll have this one, and then I'll start setting up a little small tasting in the heavily populated areas instead of just up there in the rural area where I was at.
Yeah, well, I mean, where you are is you're kind of a tourist.
Yeah. Which is great for weekends and holidays.
Weekends, holidays, and summertime. Yeah, but
right.
it's like here where I'm at. I'm in a resort area, and it's like the local restaurants you drive by, the places that are packed all summer long are like hardly anybody there right now, and surviving the winter around here if you're a business is an adventure, because we get overrun by fudgies, city folks, whatever. All summer. Yeah, we call them fudgies because they come up and they buy. There's a Mackinac Island fudge and Doug Murdoch's fudge are both up here in the northern part of the state, and people are always buying the fudge, and you find it in shops everywhere. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But, so we call them fudgies. Now, if they're going to the Upper Peninsula, they call them trolls because they're from below the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, the tourist town. Plus, it's a college town, so which is a good thing. Right. But
you got Ugga there, right?
You got those. Well, that's over in Athens, so that's about an hour and a half away. Yeah.
Okay.
Still dogs.
And you got
the college town that we're in is a military college, so they'll come in, 18, 19, 20. So I don't get a lot of business from that until they get.
They're probably not Air Force though, right? So.
Oh no, it's Army. It's Army.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. We do have there's a ranger station, the 5th Battalion, that's up in the mountains of Dalonega. So they come in to do mountain training there.
Oh, I didn't realize Ranger mountain training was over there. Huh? Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're sort of semi-mountain training since those are like mini mountains compared to some.
Yeah, they're not Rocky Mountains.
They're old. Yeah, they're old mountains, so they're softer and not covered with rocks.
Yep. You only have to deal with the flies, the humidity, and the poison oak and ivy.
Yeah, right. And the mosquitoes, and the black flies, and yeah.
Yep.
Although y'all's black flies aren't as bad as they are up here.
Yeah, you get below the gnat line is what it's called down here. About South Georgia, you get into the real bad ones.
Oh, it's awful. When we went to when we were camping in Savannah, we had the trailer in Savannah for a week, and it was no CM season, and the gnats. As it turns out, John's allergic to them.
Oh wow!
So when they bite, he gets all like rashes and swelling, and it's like, oh man. Fortunately, we don't have those here, but we do have no-see-ums, which are almost as bad.
Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah, it's like screens don't stop them. I mean, they're teeny little things. They can go wherever they want.
Yeah.
So productions and storage. So you're running off stock and what you already had in the tanks then.
Yeah, I had anticipated this move, so I started doing more canning, more bottling, and just building up my inventory for this. Plus, I still, I was doing beer up until November the 20th, so I was selling a lot of beer as well. So we did beer for about 4, maybe 5 years, I guess, under the Dalonega Brewery business name, but still all under Etowah.
What? How come you decided not to do that? Just focusing in on the mead, or?
That was part of the reason I wanted to focus on just the mead part, if you will, because there's a little bit more, I guess, freedom the way I look at it, that I can do different things. Not that you can't do that in beer, but I've been watching the beer market for probably the last 10 years. But I really did love making beer, but the drinking habits of people, not just in Georgia, but across the country, have changed. Beer's been slowly declining, for quite a while. And it just wasn't a good fit for me. Although I enjoyed making it. I won several awards, but it's like, what, I need to refocus. So I wanted to downsize, and I still have my tanks. I still have my my brew house, because I may try to do some teaching on the side later down the road. But
there you go.
I just wanted to focus totally on the mead part, and then I'm also going to start developing some more of the honey sodas, that because I get a lot of requests for the NAs and the the RTDs and stuff like that. So I'm gonna probably dive into that market. Maybe not this year, but the first of next year, I'll start doing some testing and lab work and stuff to get ready for it.
Okay. I think that's a really good move, because what I've seen in the overall alcohol market is, it seems across the board that there's a lot of people who would, especially since all the drinking that happened during COVID, that have lessened or even stopped drinking and are looking for flavorful drinks that don't include alcohol. and I'm seeing a lot more of that with meaderies that are doing that, and there's some breweries that are doing that, and it's interesting to see what they come up with too. So honey soda sounds really cool. That you can do a lot with that. So you're talking about something like a mead, but so it's just a small ferment, or what do you?
Yeah, no ferment at all. Actually, it's just going to be honey based with different fruit.
Made it and slap it in a can.
Yep. Because right now I make my normal meads, which is anywhere from 12% meads that I do. The session meads that I have on tap and that I can, those outsell almost a 5-to-1 of the drinking now.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's try the trend, because when I made my black and blue, most everything was about 12. I made the black and blue. I made it particularly at 10%, just a little bit lighter, because you can adjust that. And it, like I said, it outsells all. It is sort of going towards a little bit lighter alcohol.
Well, lighter alcohol, and if you like something, I mean, like take a 12% mead. And it's tasty. You got 750 ml bottle of it, and you can't sit there and drink that whole bottle. Not if you want to get up and walk around. I'd be like couch blocked for a while, after that. But what I saw especially when sessions started taking off, bird's eye view of the industry, so I'm just kind of watching the whole thing. And when sessions started happening, and people just first they were in bottles, and then they started canning them, and then it really took off, because you can't take bottles to the beach.
Nope.
So I think that's part of it, is and that's why I call them beach meads sometimes, because percents, I'll take that all day long, because I can drink all of them.
Right.
Yep.
And then being in North Georgia, and they work a lot of hikers. Then just south of us, we got Lake Sidney Lanier, which is a huge lake for North Georgia. So a lot of people go boating. So it just of the bottles.
Yeah. I think that's a good move. That would make a lot of sense. Overall trend is for less alcohol too, even though maybe they'll drink 2 or 3 of the cans as opposed to one of the bottles. It doesn't have to make sense. Yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. So the no-see entire conversation about how to deal with no-see-ums on the chat. And Browntown, who's Army, and Rob, who is also Army, said that the flame retardant uniforms the Army makes you wear is soaked in permethrin, which is tick and stuff repellent. He says he's probably going to grow a third arm or something. Yeah, but it works.
Yep, it does. It'll kill them.
It'll kill them. Yeah. So okay, so how much? I mean, at your current rate, how long can you go before you have to fire up the production center again?
Well, it depends on what my sales are going to look like. So I'm hoping that'll be good, obviously, being a busy corner. So I figured the first month of being open, I'll see. And I figured maybe within 3 months that I'll start the production area. I'm already looking at places and checking on zoning, because it's going to be in a different county, if you will. So okay. I'm going through the discovery zoning phase, if you will, and looking at flex warehouses. So that's what I'm kind of looking at now. It's like, okay, where can I go? Yeah, that'll be a good fit for me as far as traveling and time wise. Right. And there's a lot of new construction going on. So
yeah.
So definitely will have to be probably within 3 to 6 months of me opening, because even if I start going through a lot of it, it's like, okay, now I got to get it going again and start again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably will not do any barrel aged meads right off the bat. Obviously, I'll focus on my session meads and my standard ones that are not barrel aged, and just
quick turnaround stuff that you can get out the door. Yeah, I hear you. But
I do
you can also be doing
Yeah. Because I do obviously go through a lot of filtration. So once I have them made, I can filter them out pretty quick. The lenticular filter system. And then on my cans, I can make those shelf stable because I do pasteurization on those. About a pasteurization.
No,
So, yeah.
that's you don't see that much on this side of the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's common in Europe. They're Poland. That's pretty much how they stop their, they get their mead stopped as pasteurization.
Yeah. Yeah, I filter out anything that goes in the bottle except for my barrel-aged ones. I filter those down to a 0.45 just to make sure I'm safe. But all the canned stuff, because I was doing the same thing for the beer, because I bought this big batch system from Mercier Orchards, a cider house up in North Georgia. They were upgrading to a tunnel system, so I bought their batch system and implemented that, and didn't have a problem with it at all once we got trained on it. And I got a little computer that tracks my pasteurization, numbers and stuff. So I can have it on the shelf for many months. So that's what we started doing in preparation for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. And that was what, when we got into talking with the Polish, when I went over there for the Mead Madness Cup in 2019, it was one of the things they were talking about, how they pasteurize it. And so there were several mead makers in the group that went, several commercial mead makers in the group that went visiting Polish meaderies, and they're talking about how they pasteurize and showing us their pasteurization setup and everything. And there was some really good questions in there, and that was one of the things that came up was, because it does change the flavor profile, but they adjust for that.
Yep.
So, so they know that's going to happen, so that they plan for that. But he also mentioned that that keeping it stable was huge, that was a big thing for them. Yeah. And I never really thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because in the very beginning, before I started all that process, and I tried to filter as much as I could, but the session meads, being only 5% in a can, sometimes they'd sit on the shelf maybe for a month, and then I'd start to have little can bombs, if you will. It's like I can't justify that on the insurance side as far as that. Plus, I don't want to get that kind of name out there. It's like, don't buy that stuff because it'll blow up on you.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, so I just started.
And even when you do everything right, sometimes it still does.
So, but like I said, I won't say trial and error, but I keep good records. Log sheets, different temperature levels for the different types of meads, because maybe my apple pie mead doesn't need as much, or it might need a little bit more. Just depends on everything that's in there versus a traditional. So my fruit meads definitely need just a touch more, but if you go too high or too long, then it tastes like cooked fruit, so which is not good. So
yeah,
there's a good area or range that you can fall within as long as you're hitting those numbers. That's just what we got used to doing.
Okay. Well, you're one of very few meaderies that I'm aware of that are using pasteurization. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Well, I looked at cross flow systems and stuff like that, and it just, from what I was wanting to do, what the meat I wanted to put out, it was going to be expensive, not only for the machine, but the filters and cleaning that out, and just the downtime for that, if you will. So how they were doing theirs, because they had similar problems as far as bottle bombs, if you will. It's like, well, how are you doing yours? And so I talked to them and I bought their system just right off the bat. So yep.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I've had a few that blew up. I was judging at the Mead Free or Die.
Yep.
Which is sadly defunct. It's the second to last one, I think, and we were at Michael's Fairbrothers place basically in the production area. They had set up all the tables, and I was doing the mead judging in there, and he had what is it? How about them apples?
Yeah.
Which he was canning, and for whatever reason, I can't remember exactly what happened, but it started re-fermenting in the cans. So we're sitting there judging, and you're hearing up in the stacks, he's got these huge, like cost to the ceiling shelves, and you hear pops, pops, pop, 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 pop.
Oh no!
Oh God, yeah, poor Michael. I felt so bad for him, and like the whole batch apparently. And so he's like handing us cases to take home and go and get these in the fridge as soon as you get home.
Yeah.
And I had driven up there from North Carolina, so I'm driving back from New Hampshire. The case of it could go off at any moment,
Yep.
And Manic, I think it was Manic that had. Was it Manic? One of the meaderies up here that's in Ohio or Indiana, and I can't remember which one it was. They had one that had done that, and I really liked the mead. And they're like, "Yeah, well, we're not selling it because it re-fermented in the bottle, and it's and you can't trust it." So I was like, "Well, I don't care. I like the mead. Will you sell me some of it?" And he's like, "Sure," And so I got it. He gave it to me for a discount price or whatever, and it was like, "Get it right in the fridge." The darn thing popped its cork on the way back to the hotel. And so I got a nice big stain on the seat cover in my Jeep from where the meat just went all over the place. It's like loverly, just loverly.
As far as I'm concerned, as a mead maker and producer, you try to find ways that you never have to do that again.
Oh God, I know, yeah. That is not a fun thing.
Yeah, I had a batch of peach mead that I had bottled and thought that I had filtered it really good, and I had worked with Scott Labs on filtration. It's like, okay, solid to go. And probably within 6 or 8 months, it started pushing corks out. And it's like, what the heck,
Dang.
And the only thing we could figure out is that on one of the final runs that I was doing for the filtration, that I'd either overused the filter or pushed it too hard, PSI, and it must have punched a hole in some, because not all the bottles were bad. It was just a few. And so it had a hole in it, and it let some of the yeast go through. And so it got reactivated. So there it was. So about 1 out of every 10 seemed like it was trying to push out. So here we are. It's like, okay, how do we fix this? And so, we wound up uncorking every one of them, putting it back in the barrel, and then refiltering it.
Yep. Yeah, that's what you got to do. I remember, I think it was Schramm's did a recall because they had some that were doing that.
Yeah.
And they did a recall on the whole batch, and they're like, just bring it in, we'll swap it out for you.
Yeah. It's not
my worst 3-gallon batch.
Yeah.
My worst is a 3-gallon batch of red currant.
Yeah.
Had to empty it all, put it back in the carboy. Are you done yet? Are you done yet? All right. Stabilize. Are you done yet? Are you sure you're done yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've had to implement several different protocols, obviously between the lab studies, the yeast counts, and all that good stuff. But it helped me on the beer side because I was doing the same thing on that. Because I didn't want any beer to come back as well.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
Yep.
A couple of the questions that Nathan sent in for us today for you are beer related. Which is interesting since you're not doing beer anymore.
Yeah. Well, I might be able to answer some. I don't know. It just depends on what
yeah, well, no, they're not. Yeah, okay. So he says, all right. So let's do the beer ones, and as long as we're talking about beer. Among your beers, 1833 Dalonega Light Lager, Darling of the Laundromat, and Introduction of the Honey Tango Braggot. I love the names. Has there been a strong crossover of patrons from beer drinking to lead into exploring more of your mead offerings on tap?
Actually, no.
Really?
And I'm kind of disappointed because that's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah, I'm just saying beer people tend to be alcohol curious,
Yeah. I would say the ones that are trying the Honey Tango and the Darling of the Laundromat, they will taste some, but it's usually my mead drinkers who then want to taste those braggots. It's like, what does that taste like? And so normally where they would not drink a beer, they would at least have the braggot. But the ones that drink the 1833, the light lagers, that's the Budweiser Miller crowds, and that's all they care about. They don't want to try. They might try a little bit of a flight, but they're not buying anything to take home, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I ran into that with a lot of my friends. We actually made some homemade beers, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I'll take a Bud Light." And it's like, all right, then. And these are good friends of ours. I'm like, I'm sorry that you have no sense of alcohol, but okay.
Yeah. I try not to be, I'll say high and mighty about, the Budweiser drinkers, because there's plenty of them out there. But I had these group of ladies, most of them were on the wine tour, and I had one lady come in, and she was not a wine person. She was a beer person, and she wanted to know, do you got anything like a Bud Light? And I was like, you know what? I can't make nothing that bad. So
we don't do rice beers here, so no, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh no. I mean, it's like, it cracked me up when I was at Valkyrie's Horn after everybody's judging me, done judging mead. Of course, by that point, we're about meaded out, after 2 days of judging mead. And a whole bunch of them were drinking. What the hell was it? And this thing is judged at a brewery. We're in like the party space of the brewery, but we get free beer tickets each day, which is great, and they have a really good sour beer that I like. But there was also guys that had brought like cheapo Miller High Life or some other really bass beer, and I'm like going, yeah, why don't you just buy some Drury's, and they're like, well, it's hard to find.
Yes.
So yeah, I hear you. Speaking of sours, that's another one. That was the other beer question.
Okay.
He says, with your Sky Squirrel sour beer, have you considered a possible fruited sour mead addition to your portfolio in the future?
Thought about it. I'm not a sour beer fan or sour mead fan.
I love sours.
One of the girls that worked for me, that was her kind of deal. She loved sours, so that's why we made the Sky Squirrel, and it was actually named after her sugar gliders. So one of the guys in there was asking about her pet, and he couldn't remember the name sugar gliders, so he said, those flying squirrel things. So that's just where the Sky Squirrels kind of came about.
That's pretty funny. That's a great name. I love it. Sugar gliders. Yeah, those are really cool critters. But sour meats are there's definitely a subset of people there who really like those.
Yeah. My wife said I needed to make a sour cherry, but I just haven't brought myself to do it yet.
It's not about what you like, Blair. It's what the people that buy your mead like,
No, I still remember the first time I tried. I didn't even know it was a sour beer. We just went to a local bar down here, and we ordered beers, just having a craft day. And I took one sip of it, and I put it back to him. I said, "Something's wrong with this beer. It's sour." He says, "Yeah, it's supposed to be." And I said, "Well, I'm not drinking it."
That was the And I was at a brew club meeting, and of course, everybody's passing around their stuff, and somebody said, I get that a lot in these things, and I tried it, and I'm like, oh man, it's like skunky or something. He's like, no man, it's a funky beer. They're supposed to taste like that. It was like, this is. I ended up liking it from going from this is not right to I'm no beer judge, but it was just interesting. Before that, and I'm used to having my beer geek friends drag me around beer hunting after conferences and stuff. So I know about beer. I've learned going beer hunting with my beer geek friends.
Change palate.
Yeah, it is. Well, and it's a change up. In the Mazer, first years in the Mazer, we do 2-3 days of heavy duty judging, and we're beat to crap, and I'm running 15-18 hour days, and we're like, you know what, I need tapas and I need beer. So we'd go out, and it was Colorado, so you literally couldn't swing a cat without hitting a brewery. They're everywhere, so we ended up going beer hunting, and that was kind of my beer education. There was getting dragged around by my beer geek friends. So they took great pleasure in setting things up in front of me, thinking that they'd throw me or I'd hate it, or it was here, try this. And some really interesting stuff that way, I'll tell you.
Mushroom beer is not as weird as you'd think it is.
I thought mushroom mead was going to be weird, but it was pretty good actually.
Yeah.
So that's.
I've only had
a couple. Well, I had the one that Tom made that he had at Mazer, 8-9 years ago, and then the whole candy cat mushroom thing took off, and everybody was doing it. And there were several commercial meads that had candy caps, and Billy had a lot of fun with that over at Lost Cause.
Okay.
Yeah, he did some stuff. The candy cap mushrooms apparently are a really interesting adjunct item to put. Yeah, check it out. See what's what. See, you're not getting out enough, Blair. You gotta go. You gotta get above the Mason Dixon once in a while. Y'all Southerners behind the times.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. It was really interesting. Billy's also an adventurous sort too. He gets into stuff that nobody else has tried yet.
Billy is how I learned that I like steeped black pepper, but I don't like eating this stuff.
Half past midnight, after Midnight Jack, and it was like a spicier version of Midnight Jack. Yeah. So, and that was an off dry elderberries and currants and something else. I can't remember, but it was it was designed to be an off dry, fully BV, blah blah blah. And one of the very few dry meads that I buy or would buy. He's of course not open anymore, but what was Melavino is now a Tej meadery, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, the guy that bought it is the son of an old friend of mine that I bumped into, of all places, at Universal Notes Conference. And that tells you how old I am. and I was at the time, so I was sitting outside having a smoke, sitting on a fountain edge, and just having a smoke and just reading or something. I can't remember what it was. We were on lunch break or something. And this guy sits down next to me, starts talking to me. He's this older Ethiopian guy. And we just started to find out that he was making Tej in America when nobody else was. Yeah. And he sadly, his son got in touch with me. And he's like, "Do you remember Araya?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't talked to him. How's he doing?" He's like, "Sadly, he passed away. I'm his son. And I am starting a meadery, and I'm buying Melavino, And I was like, "Okay, you gonna make Tej?" And he's like, "Absolutely." So we had him on the show. We had him on the show last year, I think it was. So yeah, he's kicking butt and taking names up there, and it's doing a great job making a really nice Tej. It's very nice. I got to poke him and get him to drag him out of Jersey and get him to come out to meet some of the folks, because he's not hooked into the industry yet. So, Yeah. We need to drag you up here too. If only for a visit. I mean, think about how nice it would be to, go up where there's snow in February or in March rather.
Yeah.
Instead of it being, like 90 degrees in Georgia and 20 below and snow on the ground in March.
I had a pretty good time with the snow while I was in Wyoming and South Dakota in the military.
Well, I'll bet. Yeah, you get some serious snow up there. They aren't messing around. It's fun. Oddly enough, the last 2 years at the Valks, March in Minnesota, you'd think it'd be, hip deep in snow and like bitterly cold, but it really wasn't. 2 years ago, we were going to all go curling. That was the activity. We were going to go curling because the brewery has a curling area, but it was too warm. There wasn't any ice. Yeah. And definitely not winter.
Yeah. I actually did watch the curling during the Olympics. I found that interesting.
Oh, we were we drove up to Traverse City the other day, which is the nearest city of any size to where I live out in the middle of BFE. And it's like an hour drive, and we're tooling through town going wherever it was we were going. And what do we see but a curling center? Yeah. Looks like a roller skating rink, It's like it says Traverse City Curling Institute. Is like, that's cool. I suppose you got to learn how to do it somewhere.
Yeah.
But I just never seen such a thing. But I guess there would be curling schools, there's skating schools and.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting, and we're gonna go check that out maybe next winter. So. I've always wanted to try that because it looks like fun.
Yeah, slam some rocks down here. Let's see.
Right? Slam some rocks and then slide on your knees with a little broom. It's hilarious to watch. But yeah. So have you got new stuff that you're thinking about doing? I know you got your standards like, black and blue and stuff like that you've been making, well, pretty much since the get-go. But
yeah, I don't have as many traditionals as I want to. I want to do a little bit more traditional so I can do honey pairings with them.
Oh, nice.
And so that's something I sort of want to bridge that gap together, because I still get a lot of people, some will say, oh, where'd you get your honey? But then there's some that come in there. It's like, I thought all honey was the same. It doesn't come out of the squeezy bear or something. It's like, oh my God.
And they don't realize that honey has a fingerprint and that it's unique.
So before I moved, I started doing little honey tasting events. I'd take like 5 or 6 different honeys, and I'd have about 12 people I'd bring in, and we'd go through the different tasting nuances, what the honey was like and what kind of flower profile is it and things like that. And then, but I only had 1 or 2 of the traditionals, my wildflower and other ones. It's like, I need to have more traditionals. And so that's something that I was going to work on, because I used to have, I got the blues actually, when I first started out, was strictly a traditional blueberry blossom honey.
Okay.
And I thought it was good. I'd won awards with it, but most people that were coming in, it's like, oh, this is blueberry. Yeah. It's like, well, why doesn't it taste like blueberries, or why isn't it, blue or purple? And it's like, no, it's blueberry honey.
Yeah.
And so I actually got tired of saying that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I took it off market for a little while, and then I brought it back, and I actually started putting blueberries in it. And so then it got the blues. It's like it's blueberry blossom and blueberries. And it was a very good seller. But then when I started making the black and blue, then everybody wanted that one. So it's like, what, I'll take the got the blues off the market for a little bit, and maybe I'll bring it back as a true traditional.
Yeah. Are you thinking about, if you're expanding your traditionals, are you thinking about bringing in some more varietal traditionals? Or
Yes.
Okay, so what varietals are you looking at?
Well, I want to do a strictly sourwood, strictly Tupelo. I'll do a strictly orange blossom and strictly clover. So that's the bulk of what I'm looking at now.
No, those are good choices and things that people will be able to relate to. I think, you're not getting into the exotics, at that point. But and those are all honeys those are all southern honeys.
Yes, and that's ones I'll start
with. Everywhere, but
yeah. But I've sort of semi-started, at least in name, the Dalonega Honey Company, because I'm from Dalonega. And so instead of me just, selling local honey like everybody else does, I'm going to focus on exotic honeys that I can curate and bring in from different places around the world, if you will, and have different varieties. I may not obviously make mead from every one of them, but at least I want people to know that there's, hundreds of varieties of meads, and hundred varieties of honeys, and they can taste those.
Absolutely, yeah. I actually just got a book that was Honeys of the World, and it was Marina Marchese, who we've had on the show, but she's a honey connoisseur basically, and she judges honeys, and she's taken the Italian program where you learn to become a honey judge and all of that. So, but yeah, it was amazing, all the different varietals that were out there. And I knew a lot of them, but there was also quite a few that I didn't know about.
Right.
So it's always fun to learn more, but I think that's a great idea. There are some companies that are doing that, but they tend to only really have the more available ones. The only one I know that's dealing with some of the exotics is Bee Folks up in Maryland.
Yeah.
And you get a few of them over at Z Specialty because they get meadow foam because that's a Washington honey. Right. But so for them it's not as exotic as it is for the rest of us, But and Bee Seasonal specializes in Central and South American and European honeys.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's German and he's South American, so they've got connections, But there's just not a ton. There's a guy in New York who was working primarily with Eastern European varietals.
Okay.
So linden and stuff like that. But there isn't a ton of that going on. There's some, but not a ton.
Right. Yeah, my eyes got opened quite a bit when I went out to Z Specialty when I was out there at UC Davis. It's like, really, I didn't even know there was that many to start with, but
And they've
they
got
had up and running.
yeah, and they don't even have all that many. They've got maybe 15 different varieties.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. You don't think about it. And as I collect, every time I find a new honey, and I picked up carrot honey, as a matter of fact. I picked up 2 more honeys at Valkyrie. There's a honey supplier that is a sponsor for Valks, and then they also will have honey there for sale. And they even let me put my Got Mead merch out this year, which I thought was sweet. But they have last year they had the Spanish black walnut, which is really good. And oh gosh, what was the? Trying to remember which ones I picked up this year. The buckets are downstairs, so I can't go down and look at them. But yeah, every time I get a new one, I pull off a 4-ounce jar so that I can take it around with my honey collection and share it with people.
Yeah.
I take that whenever I teach a class or if I go to a beekeeping meeting or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there could be an interest out there in just educate people because
absolutely.
So
yeah. And there's quite a few. There's quite a few in the South that there's Black Mangrove and God, there's a couple of other ones that they're literally like you do not see them outside of the South,
right?
The American South, so.
Yeah, and sometimes it is hard to get the single floral because sometimes when I was getting the gallberry, it was blueberry season and they had might have been it wasn't Tupelo, it was some of the black flower they had down there and it was kind of a mixture, giving a peppery feeling. So
it's hard to get 100% monofloral. Yeah. You have to have a really big field for that. Because bees will go.
It will be on in your timing for harvesting.
Yeah, bees are a couple of miles they'll forage.
Yeah, 2 to 3.
Yeah, so there's because I know that Frank over at Golden in California, he was getting what the heck was it? It was not heather. It was purple flowers.
Lavender?
Yes, thank you. Lavender, okay. Organic lavender, because apparently there was these ginormous organic lavender fields, and so he was putting, somebody was putting hives out there, and he was getting that, and I was just like, holy crap!
Yeah, we got that here.
Yeah, well, we grow lavender here too, but there isn't any lavender farms. Yeah. Actually, I think there might be a lavender farm on Traverse City. Come to think of it.
Yeah, we have one in the area where I'm at, Red Oak Lavender Farm, and they do that. That's their thing, and they collected the lavender honey, and then they wanted me to make a lavender mead for them for one of their weddings. It's like, okay, I can do that. So, yep, did that.
How'd it come out?
It was good. I did some small experiments. Obviously, you can't leave lavender in, the solution long, if you will, because it'll get hot and spicy on you like a ginger will. So I kept experimenting, and so what I was doing, I was I took some organic lavender buds, if you will, and put them in a cheesecloth, and then I put it into the mead, and it was literally like 4 hours. I let it sort of absolve in there, and then just pulled everything out, and it was the perfect lavender at that point. So it was like, okay, so it don't take much. Because you don't want it to get minty and spicy and hot. So.
Well, and it goes to the soap area too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you end up with lavender body products, kind of smell. But I'm fixing to make one that I took a whole bunch of we've got lilacs all over here, and my parents loved them, so I've got like 15 lilac trees in my yard, and I took a whole bunch of the lilac blossoms and basically put them in a gallon of honey. So I've got a gallon of honey full of suspended light. You look at it and they're all like suspended and going, in the gallon. And I'm just going to take that and do it like I would do a traditional because the flowers are already in there. And the honey itself has this beautiful floral character. It's just amazing. So it'll be really interesting to see how that turns out. And there was somebody else I was talking that I saw online that was doing violets, had a huge violet patch, and was like, "Can I use these in mead?" And then that sparked the whole conversation,
Yeah.
So, but I like working with flowers. I mean, I've made rotomels, and those always come out really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to do a root beer kind of mead, when I first started, and I was going to, because we have a lot of sassafras trees down here, and I was like, well, I'll just use sassafras, but apparently you can't use that, or at least you didn't want to try it.
Is it? Yeah, it's a shame because it would be an amazing flavor in a mead. Really, I grew up using sassafras in tea, and I mean, there's all over the place here too. So, it's like no, man, sassafras is good. Wintergreen is another one, and I'm pretty sure that they just frown on that. Oh, Rob just posted it. He's got a quart jar of honey that has borage flowers in it. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I may do another round with lilac this year, although what I may do is take the flowers and make a tincture using vodka or something.
Yeah.
And see what I can do with that. But make it like a lilac cordial out of it maybe or something. Or possibly make a mead. I don't know. Yeah. I should make an infusion. I should make a lilac infusion and then use that water and the lilac honey and see what that gets me.
Yeah, I did some experiments with vanilla doing the same thing, either vanilla bean versus a vanilla extract that I made, because I went to Hawaii and brought back some Hawaiian vanilla.
Oh, okay.
And so I did the vodka trick, and it's like, okay, how am I going to incorporate this, and what does it compare
From a
with?
commercial standpoint, that becomes a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
TTB kind of frowns on stuff.
Yeah. When you start slinging more alcohol in there, they start getting a little uppity.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I hear you. But I mean, you could, I ended up using extract and beans. Last time I made a meadow foam. I had meadow foam, and so I used meadow foam honey. And I had a friend who was like an absolute vanilla nut, and he's like, "Oh my god, you're gonna make a vanilla mead!" He tasted the honey, so I racked it onto some beans that I chopped, and I put those in there and let it sit. And we didn't get enough, so I ended up racking it on. Once I racked it again, then I put some extract in there, and that did the trick.
Okay.
I seem to get a better thing. The other thing I'd look at would be, what do they call it? It's like a vanilla puree almost. It comes in a jar. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it.
System uses that.
Yeah.
Vanilla paste.
Vanilla paste. Yeah, and it's great stuff too. So there's a lot of different routes you can go with that don't involve vodka and soaking. So.
Right.
But you could definitely, get it there. Of course, I don't know how big your tanks are, but that could end up being a lot of vanilla.
Yeah, well, most of my experimental stuff, I'm doing either 5 gallons or 30 or 55.
Yeah.
My bigger tanks are 5-barrel tanks when I'm doing full production.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you do, a run that big with those, but yeah, from a home level, 5 gallons or what have you, it's no big.
Yeah. And I had 2 experimental coffee meads that I put out on tap. That I did. I had one just regular Colombian coffee that I used the beans, and then since I was coming back from Hawaii, I had some Kona coffee, and so I had one called just Cup of Joe, and then the other was called Kona Joe, and so I put both of those coffee meads out, and it was well accepted. A lot of people liked it.
Nice. Were you going with local coffee people, or?
Yeah, there's a couple of local roasters around North Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Letting them roast the beans, or are you roasting them?
No, I don't know. I know how to burn beans, but no, I let them do.
You just made me waste some of the pawpaw. I just went everywhere.
Yeah, some people try to brew it and then try to incorporate the coffee that way, but I didn't want the acidity in it, so I didn't want to brew anything. Even a cold brew, I didn't want to take a chance, so I just used some fresh roasted, still had the oils on it, and just put those in a game bag, if you will, and then let those soak in there with a traditional mead, or depends on what flavor I'm wanting to use. And it pulls that oily flavor out. Then you just filter out the oils.
Mm-hmm. I was say I had that problem with roses. You end up with a film of oil. You just rack out from underneath it, you know.
Yep.
But that makes sense. Yeah, I've had some really good coffee meads, and I don't like coffee, but a well-constructed coffee mead is a delight.
Yep. Yeah, especially if you can get the aroma.
Yeah, I love the smell. I just never liked the taste. But that,
he's getting the taste to match the smell.
It'd be cool if they could do that. I'd probably be a coffee drinker if that was the case. Rob was saying he made a coffee blossom traditional and aged it on coffee beans. Turned out pretty good. He said made coffee with the spent beans afterward. I bet that was some interesting coffee.
Wow.
Coffee squared.
Yeah, right. coffee cubed if you include making the coffee after the fact. Yeah, coffee blossom honey though is yummy stuff too. So have you tried that one yet?
I don't think I have.
You need to hit Be Seasonal and get some of their sample jars. They've got little sample kits of like 4-ounce jars, and it's great because you get to try all kinds of stuff.
I may have to do that.
It's well worth it. I can definitely tell you that.
Yeah, because that's with this new tasting room. That's part of the concept that I'm trying to promote. It's like a honey house, if you will, because what I'm setting up is not your normal, tasting room. It's used to be a farmstead, so they sold produce and stuff out of it, and had barbecue. So it's kind of the roadside stand kind of feel.
Yeah, we got a lot of that kind of stuff around here, where you get little houses that are just basically farm stands.
Yep, that's basically the concept for this.
Okay. So you're gonna have like honeys, like this mead and that honey and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal to once we get up and started. If I can get 5 or 6 good solid traditionals, even with some session traditionals, and then do the honey, and so that way, if I do honey tastings, then obviously that would push the mead sales, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's always cool to get a chance to taste a honey and then see what it's like fermented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fun learning experience. Rob just reminded me that the coffee blossom he's talking about, that you get from Sean in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah, so Sean sells the Whale Kelly honey there on the Big Island, but Sean Darrell Harris sells all these Hawaiian honeys and amazing honeys. I highly recommend trying any or all of them. They're really good. I've gotten mango, macadamia, the coffee blossom, Java, this one that was called Java something, and then Princess Tree and Christmas Berry and a whole bunch of varietals. I mean, the place is covered up with flowers and flowering plants, so it's not surprising that they've got a lot of different ones. And his shipping rates are awesome. So like 10 pounds of honey for $90 shipping included.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So, almost a gallon of honey, and you don't pay any additional shipping. It's like, okay, I'll take all that I can get.
Yeah, I did buy. Might have been from him. I had I think it was the mango, and I had a tangerine. I thought honey that I had brought in. Yeah.
That one's good too. I love the mango. That's amazing, and the mac nut honey is really interesting too.
Yep. I've had that. That's very good.
It is very good.
Yep. I didn't use any of those honeys. I just used the regular wildflower from Georgia, but I called it Southern Luau. And so what I did is I took my grill outside and I grilled pineapples, I grilled bananas, and then while they were grilling, I put honey on top of it a little bit so I get that little caramelization. And then I would scrape all that and put it in a game bag, if you will, and that's what I would put in with my wildflower honey and have that ferment, and I called it Southern Luau.
I like that.
You get that kind
really
of caramelized, caramelized pineapple and caramelized bananas and the honey in there.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good. I like that idea.
Yeah. I still get people that'll mess with me. It's like, you got that Southern luau again? It's like, no, that was a lot of work. I don't know.
That was kind of a specialty one.
Yeah.
We can talk. How many cases do you want to buy if I'm gonna make it again?
Right.
Yeah, those are fun. I showed up at a meadery in north of Detroit one time, and sadly they're no longer open. But I went in there and I was basically doing the meadery tour of the Detroit area, and stopped in to see them, and went in the back. The door, it was hot. It was summer, so it was hot, and they had the garage door open to the back area, and they had a grill in there, and they were smoking cherries.
Yep.
Yeah. So they basically had them on the grill, and they the whole grill is covered, and they're just smoking them on the grill. So it was just like, wow, that's really cool. I'd never seen anybody doing that for a mead before, so it was like, wow, that's awesome. What a great idea. Now everybody's into smoking all kinds of things, and one of the things I saw was that people will take and pipe the smoke basically right into the must.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's bubbling up. You get a bubbler, and you set it up so that it's pulling in the smoke from the smoker, and you just have it.
That did that first,
huh?
Was that Sap House that?
It might have been. I think it might have been Sap House who did that first. Yeah, but I can't tell. I can't tell you how many people I've told that to that have asked about, smoking things that go into mead, and I was like, you could just smoke the mead. Smoke the honey, and they're like, how do you do that? Because I know people will take and put it in like pans on the grill, on the smoker, and smoke it that way, but it's still not. It's kind of like when you marinate chicken, it's so dense, doesn't get in there.
Yeah.
You got to get it in there, and that's why I like the idea of piping it in to the actual must, because then it's bubbling all through there. It seems to me like that would work better.
Yeah, my stepdad's been making smoked honey. My mom hates it.
Yeah, but your stepdad's having fun, so
Yeah.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself.
And people buy it, so
Yeah, right. People, just because your mom doesn't like it. This is again, you don't make what you like; you make what people want.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. If you want to run a business, that's what it is.
Yeah, whipped honey and hot honey; those are the ones she likes making. Yeah,
they've got hot honey at Sleeping Bear Farms and St. Ambrose Meadery, but it's also Sleeping Bear Farms honey farm, and he had Kirk's hot honey. So I've got a bottle of that, and we use that for various things. But that's becoming a thing too. I see that hot honey pizzas and hot honey this, hot honey that, and
I had hot honey potato chips.
Really?
Yeah, we get weird ideas up here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're Canadian; it's expected.
They may have been hot honey pizza potato chips.
They might have been, yeah. I was surprised when I found it on a pizza, and the gal that cuts my hair likes spicy stuff, and I'm like, dude, you need to get the hot honey pizza. And she's like, oh yeah, I gotta try that.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm not a big heat fan, but I have made a couple of different habanero style, meats and forward. Because like I said, it's about what everybody else wants. Mm-hmm. And I had one that was going to be habanero and pineapple, and that did pretty good. And it's like, it was popular. It's like, if I'm going to make something on a continuous basis, it needs to be at least Georgia fruit. So I switched it to habanero and peaches.
There you go. Habanero peaches work.
Yeah, it turned out good, and I called it Sweet Hot Fuzz. So
I love it. Jalapenos are good, but you got to work with them so you don't get that vegetal. Yeah, they taste green, So.
Yes, I started using the powder, habanero powder, so I'd skip that part, and then I could control the amount, per volume.
That makes sense. Yeah. I know.
Habaneros have a really weird funk when you actually cut them open, but I haven't really noticed it in stuff that I've used them in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of chipotle, so basically roasted jalapenos,
Yeah.
But chipotle, I mean, there's several cherry chipotles that I've had that are amazing, and chipotle pineapple chipotle is awesome, and I haven't tried it with peaches, but I would imagine that it's just amazing.
Oh yeah.
So something to look at. I mean, habanero is nice, but that's higher up on the hot scale. Chipotle's nice because you get a little bit. I'm not a big heat fan either. I mean, pretty much Chipotle habanero is about as far as I can go.
Unless you use the jalapenos I grew in my garden, in which case you burn your nose.
Yeah.
It's getting hard.
Yeah. I've gotten a few like that because I like making jalapeno poppers, and so I look for the bigger ones, because you get more cream cheese in.
Honestly, I find jalapenos are like the most dishonest. Like they cheat. Like there's about 10% of them that just blow your whiskers off.
Oh, I know, and it's like they're not. These are
not. And every now and then you hit one that's like, oh my god,
like they've been hanging around with ghost peppers or something.
Did you craft with a habanero? Yeah, just nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd look into the chipotles with Georgia fruit. I think that would probably work really well.
Yeah.
Without being too terribly hot.
Yeah. If you're looking to not have a ton of heat, but have a little bit of spice. The other thing I'd look at, again, with Georgia fruit, be black pepper. Adds a touch of spice note. Yeah, black pepper. It adds a touch of spice note. I did that with my pie mint, and it was amazing. The character that it added to it.
You talking about peppercorns, like just black peppercorns? Black
peppercorns, yeah, like
okay.
Peppercorns, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You get a little bit of spiciness, and but you also get like it leads with the fruit, and then you get that spicy back end, and it's just really nice.
Yeah.
Something to think about, you know. But you got what? Peaches, apples. What are the other big fruits down there? Trying to think.
Blueberries a lot.
Blueberries, yeah.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those would do well with both chipotle and or black pepper.
Yeah, prior to COVID, I was making a very popular strawberry rhubarb mead.
Oh yeah,
then I where I couldn't get the Robert, or couldn't find rhubarb to save my life. That was at least enough where I could get it, but it was so expensive.
Well, and it doesn't grow well. Does it grow in your area? I know it doesn't grow further south because there's not enough cold.
It can grow in the area, but it's more of a winter crop because it gets too hot.
It is. Yeah, because it needs a cold snap to do well. So here it's like a weed almost, and I love sorry, I got distracted by the chat. Rob says, I don't like spicy backends. Yeah, well, Rob, tough patooties, Questions from November? Oh, yeah, no, Brad, you're going to have to send them to me again. Brad's like, questions? Did you get my questions from November? Like, November is like 5 months ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. My life does not extend back that far. Back when they were first booked, right? Because we were going to get you on, and then you had to move, and this got pushed back. Yeah. No, Brad, if you've still got them handy, resend them. I'm sure I have them somewhere, but I'm not in a position to go hunting for them at the moment. Okay, so you talk about the strawberry rhubarb mead, and there's actually a Nathan question about that. He says, how did the development of your strawberry rhubarb mead Coop Dreams come about? Was it Coop or Co-op? Coop Dreams, wasn't it?
Coop Dreams was the television program,
Oh, right, yeah. And then the story behind the veterans you support through its purchase.
Right. So it was a guy who he builds chicken coops for veterans and stuff, and so he had come down to our area, and I had a friend that he was building for him and his daughter, who's also ex-military, chicken coops, and so that's it. He calls it Coop Dreams, and they would have these little bingo parties and stuff, and so where the chicken would poop on the bingo thing, it's like playing checkers. It's checkerboard. And so we did a special run for him to try to, help raise money for that and obviously get our name out there. But it was still just our regular strawberry rhubarb, but just with his logo and stuff on it. But that's how it came about. Is I met that guy through my military friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that you did a support for the veterans on that. I'm all about that, and every most of the charities that I donate to and that are all veteran related, so I'm into that kind of thing. I donate every year to groups that do therapy dogs for vets.
Okay.
Yeah, my daughter has a therapy dog, so It's kind of near and dear for me.
My wife insisted, is how I'm going to put it, that I do one that I do one for rabbits. She's a house rabbit person. We donate money to the Georgia House Rabbit Society, and
Oh, nice.
so the mead that I have is called Canebrake, like CANE, and it was named after the canebrake rabbit, which used to live along the Etowah River, which
Wow.
obviously is how we get our name. And so we donate money to the Georgia House Rabbit Society for some of the proceeds that we sell through the canebrake, which is a black currant mead.
There you go. Hey AJ, look at that. AJ is a rabbit person. She's got rabbits. Well, rabbit.
Well, we used to. So we used to have I think the most we've had at one time was 4 house rabbits, but we've had probably about 10 rabbits over the years. And finally, we just either got older, but my wife is slowly trying to talk me into getting more house rabbits. So this next Saturday, I'm taking her to the anniversary of the Georgia House Rabbit Society so she can go play with all the bunnies.
Yay. Bunnies.
Nice.
Yeah, the one I'm petting, I adopted in November from the local shelter because he'd been born there and it sat past his first birthday, so I figured he needed to come home with someone.
And you were ready.
Yeah, I needed the money.
Yeah, her previous bunny had gone to the happy hunting grounds.
Yeah.
It takes time,
Expensive creatures.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, yeah. I hear that. And
he eats more than I do.
Yeah. My 6 dogs that are, and 4 of them are old. So we're now getting into the, we have to go to the vet again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Got one that's going tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So, but got one more Nathan question.
Okay.
Since I can't find Brad's questions. How did you arrive at the site selection for Long Branch and 52, or are there things that you either already miss or don't mind leaving behind at the prior location?
Well, being in a rural county, there's not a lot of options is one thing. And so I hadn't been traveling on that side of the county in a while, at least those back roads. Because my old place was in one place, my house was another, and it's just back and forth. You get routine, and when you get busy, like you don't get to go exploring. But one day I had to go that way to go to a county office because I was going to do an event, and I had to go to a transportation division. And so when I went through that intersection, even though I knew my aunt and uncle used to own the place for years before they sold it last April, it just had a sign up there that says for lease. That's like, I just didn't even think about it, and I knew it was a busy intersection. I've known it for years. And so after I did my little business with the county office, I came back there, wrote the number down, and just sit there and watched all the traffic. And so it's like, okay, it's pretty busy. So then I did a traffic study, is this a busy intersection? How many cars? What's around it? Those kind of things. And then I know that's the back way to get into the other wineries that's in North Georgia. So a lot of people that's coming from Atlanta, which is the 80% of my customers coming north into the tourist area, that's the back way that they get into the other wineries. And it's like, what, if I can get them cut off before they go there, and have them put in.
There you go.
So I called the guy and told him who I was, and we made a deal. And so I leased it last October and just started moving stuff in there.
Nice.
Yep.
I love that you did a traffic study. I don't know how many people actually, think about that when they're looking for a location.
You got to know.
You do. And, obviously there's other constraints too, like, how much you can afford to shell out on a monthly basis and whether or not it's zoned properly and blah, 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 blah.
Yep. You got to do all that. Does it have city water where I'm at, or is it on the well? And what does that entail?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So everything just sort of fell into place a little bit.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Now, if I can just get the state of Georgia on their toes and give me the license, I'll be ready to go.
Yeah, right. Well, here's hoping and praying that they'll get a move on. Yeah. Not hold my breath or nothing, but it'd be cool if they did. And when you do get back on Vino Shipper, they don't ship to Michigan unless you do the additional paperwork.
Right. Yeah. There's a couple of states like Virginia and stuff that dropped off over the years. So, yeah.
That's one of the things I run into when looking at that now. I didn't have that problem in North Carolina because that's on the regular list, but Michigan is apparently an extra bunch of paperwork you got to do in order to be able to ship to Michigan. It drives me nuts because the only time I can get Billy stuff is when I see Billy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's heard me bitch enough about you don't ship to Michigan. And he like brings extra bottles and goes here.
Yeah.
So apparently my bitching was having some effect. But yeah, I didn't think about that when we decided to stay here. It never even crossed my mind until I ran into it when I was like, oh, I want to get some. What do you mean you don't ship to Michigan?
Yeah, I got a buddy in Utah that I went to high school with, and he's always asking me for stuff. So, Vino Shipper doesn't go there, but somehow he finds the stuff. Somehow, I don't know.
Somehow, yeah, it's amazing how that works out. The universe is in a mysterious place.
It is.
Yeah,
it will find a way.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of people asking me about, like, why don't they ship to Michigan? And I'm like, because Michigan has stupid laws and they've gotten really insular about people shipping from out of state because we've got a pretty vibrant craft alcohol, group or people here. So I think some of it is protectionism. North Carolina did the same thing. They didn't want you shipping. If you like say wanted to get some wine from a California winery, you had to go to California, taste the wines, and then have them shipped while you were there.
Yeah.
And then you could get it. But other than that, you couldn't just like go online and order it and have it shipped to you. It wasn't working that way.
Yep. Crazy rules.
Yeah, it is.
Georgia's that way for their beer, and that was one of the decisions. The reason I got out of beer is you can't self-distribute your own beer. So it's funny, the festivals in town, because I would support a lot of the festivals, I could literally drive my mead, 2 miles to the downtown area and sell it and have it at the festivals. But the beer, no, the guy from 50 miles away has to come up, pick it up, and then drive it the 2 miles, and then sell it back to us, at 50% markup, and then we could have the beer.
Yeah, that's silly. Yeah. Yeah, the mess that we have since Prohibition is just stupid. It really is. So be nice to have some kind of national overall, but that's never going to happen because that is something that's the level of the states,
Oh yeah. And our politicians love the distributor kickbacks. I didn't say that on TV.
No, that was not your out loud voice, was it?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Rob Barnhart's saying Michigan has a surcharge per recipe to ship here. It's like $37 a recipe.
Wow.
Not per bottle, but black and blue, $37. DeSoto's Quest, $37.
Yeah. Well, if they sell enough of it, it would make up over the long term. But is that $37 a year or once?
No, that's like a $37. That's just to get it on there, and then you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a yearly thing. I don't know. Rob's typing again, so he might know. I never looked into that, to be perfectly honest. Rob would have because he's planning to start a meadery at some point. So
yeah, you need to know.
Yeah, you need to know. Oh, one-time charge per recipe. So
well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no, $37 is no biggie. It's just actually to say it's extra paperwork, and that's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So
and it's that way for a reason.
Well, yeah, because Michigan is being a jerk about the whole thing, and that will eventually change. It did with North Carolina. They realized that they were cutting off their nose to spite their face, and suddenly did an about face and started letting anybody ship anything anywhere, and that was great for those of us that wanted to buy mead from out of state because they're at that point in time there wasn't any meaderies in North Carolina. There are like 13 of them now, but it was
time for you to leave.
Huh? Yeah, just in time to leave. I never did get to visit some of the newest ones. I meant to, and I just never quite got around to it. But it's just what it is. And Michigan will eventually come around, and probably sometime in the next 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I'm hoping Georgia beer laws will change because I was part of the Brewers Guild, and I've met with politicians and stuff. But like I said, the kickbacks and they're just not doing it now. That was one of the one of the deciding factors. But you know what I don't have to worry about is if I'm making sodas, I can deliver and ship that anywhere I want to.
Yes, you can. There's no alcohol, so you can do whatever you like.
Yep. And I've talked to other wineries up here. You know, Dalonega is sort of like a mini Napa place. You know, it's a wine country of the South, is what everybody calls it. But I've already talked to some other winery owners, and they said if I start making some craft honey sodas and stuff, that they would put it on theirs for their, non-alcohol drinkers. So
yeah, because they've got to have that.
Yeah.
Need something for the DDs to be able to drink while their friends are, imbibing. So there's that. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
Works out pretty good. But well, this has been cool. It's nice to finally get you back on. 10 years. Wow. Yeah, AJ looked back and we found out it was what, March?
Yeah, March 2016. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, Blair wasn't even open then. So
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Been doing this long enough that we're coming back around.
Have you guys did my neighbor down here, the Viking Alchemist? Y'all talked to them?
I think I had them on in the second or third year, something like that. But I got to double check, and I need to get them. If not, I need to get them back on and see what they've been up to. So
yeah,
I've got a long list of people I need to get in touch with, and I've been a lazy butt not staying on top of that the way I should. Focusing more on ripping out floors and laying tile and stuff like that. So.
I don't think we have that one.
Did we not have okay, well then we'll rectify that. I will get in touch with them because I know them. I've known them for a long time. So
yeah.
I've got a mention of them in my notes, but I don't think I have an entry for them.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a couple of meaderies, over the years that's gone bye-bye. So
yeah, Monks is still going down there, aren't they?
Yep, Monks is still going.
Yeah, Monks and Viking Alchemist and shoot. Wasn't there one? Well, let's say Viking Alchemist is in Marietta.
Marietta, correct? Yeah.
Yeah. And Monks is in like Buckhead, aren't they in like North Atlanta or something?
Yeah, I think they finally opened their own space. They were being made by a brewery or something, but I think they got their own spot now.
Okay.
Yep. But there was I forget the other two. Some of them didn't last long, and I bought their equipment. But there was two other ones that was close to me that went out.
Didn't make it.
Oh, didn't make it. Yeah.
That's sad. I hate it when I see one close. Yeah, I mean, we're already a niche market, to see one close always hurts.
Yeah, and I try to do a little study. It's like, okay, why did one of them had the investors? They were trying to get into session meats like I was doing because that was a good seller, but their investors would not let them. So I wound up buying their equipment that they had a kegerator and stuff they were trying to do. And so they went out, and then one was just kind of in an obscure area in Roswell. Roswell's a nice area, but they were located in the back of a building in the basement next to a graveyard. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
And then there was one that
Sergio's was in the back of in the back underneath the shopping center. If you didn't know he was underneath the shopping center around back, you would not have found the place. But you did okay.
I remember him talking about that. Yeah. It was like outside of a theater or something, wasn't it, or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and when they had floods up there, the shopping center was okay, but his place was like hip deep in water. That was awful. Yeah.
I had one guy in North Georgia. Only thing he made was just spiced meats, and it's like the methogen and just I hate to say it, the common people that are just discovering meads, that's coming from the craft world. That's exactly not what they're looking for.
No, that's a little bigger than what they're. Yeah, they're not really ready for that. Methglins are more of a second level mead, really.
Yeah.
Too neat, yes.
Yeah, I'd start out with like if I'd been him, I would have done since he was obviously a spice nut, doing nothing but methlins, but go with maybe a fruit and spice.
Yeah,
blueberry cinnamon mead that would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Apple cinnamon anything.
Apple cinnamon anything. Yeah, right.
Well, that's pretty much what when I do my apple pie spices. It's the cinnamon, nutmegs, cloves, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, pumpkin spice anything as well, right?
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, pumpkin spice anything.
Yeah,
And chai spice. I've had some chai. I've had some chai spice meads that were very nice too.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about taking my chai mix that I make and making a mead with that.
Well, I'm probably going to try that with your chai mix. So
yeah. Well, let me know how.
Well, you gave me a recipe, so my edit of it, but
yeah, there you go. Just make it your own. That's what I do. It's different every time I make it. I don't actually write it all down. I do it like my grandma used to make biscuits. You're like,
full of this and full of that.
Yeah. She knew how. She didn't need a recipe. But yeah, when I make my chai spice, I've got a bag of cinnamon sticks. I've got a bag of cardamom pods. I've got a bag of dried cut sifted ginger. I've got another bag of cloves and then nutmegs and allspices, so, and I don't always put the nutmeg and allspice in there because those are not traditional chai herbs or chai spices. Mainly it tends to be, it's cinnamon, cardamom, ginger, black pepper. And I think that's it.
And the clove.
On the clove, yeah. And light on the cloves because, boy, cloves are a lot stronger than people think they are. Just because they're little doesn't mean they're.
Honestly, I might be immune to them because I always find I lose the clove unless I put extra.
Yeah.
And that's even when I've just bought fresh cloves. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's a taste thing, but yeah, it just, I like it, and I love the chai is what I drink every morning. So yeah, at some point I got to make a mead with that.
Apple of your chai was one that was going around on Got Mead years ago, and I think I still have it in a bucket somewhere. I really ought to check that out.
Yeah, I just see what it's like.
Meadmaker. Why does anybody make it?
I've got a Bochet sizer downstairs, and I really need to get something to do something with. Tracy sent me a couple gallons of this Bochet honey that a friend of hers who had 55-gallon drums of honey he was trying to liquefy one, and he wrapped it in a heating blanket and then forgot that he did that for like a week and a half. And then the honey was black by the time he got done. And he's like, oh shit, man, I burned the honey. And so Tracy tasted it. So it was like totally awesome. And so she sent me some of it. And this stuff was, it was black as pitch, but it tasted amazing. So caramely. And oh my God, it was so good. And I threw it into a sizer, and that sizer ended up moving with me because it wasn't done yet. So whether it survived or not, I'm not really sure. We'll find out, I guess.
But as soon as I get my license, I'll send you some more stuff.
Awesome. I would say keep going with the pawpaws. I want to try the canned pawpaw. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'll send you some of that.
Yeah, because the bottled still stuff was incredible, and I've saved a little bit of it. The bottle's empty now, but I've got 2 swallows left because I want John to try it. So, but he's actually going with me down to the Sugar Belt next month.
Nice.
Yeah, people that don't believe I have a husband are going to be totally shocked.
You're married? No.
Yeah, right. You have a husband? People have known me 20 years and they've never met my husband. But yeah, he just doesn't. He's just not into the mead scene. It's not his thing. He does hunting and dirt trail riding, and he's got other interests, and that's fine. That's what it is. So,
spice of life makes us different.
Exactly. So it's all good. But yeah. So yeah, you should get your stuff into Sugar Belt at some point, Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a good festival, and there's usually like 20 meaderies there, 25 meaderies.
Okay.
From all over the country, and it's not just Midwest or up north or whatever. But yeah, there's meaderies from all over. It's some pretty good meats there, so it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's it's on the 15th. Sugar Belt's on May 15th in Crown Point, Indiana. I know I just booked a campsite there because we're taking the RV. The little 16-foot bubble that we have now.
That's awesome.
But we should let you get to going because you like a working man and all that kind of thing.
Well, I need to be working more, but my wife gets on to me when I work too much. So I'm trying to cut it down to 7 days a week now.
No, right? Yeah, I know. I hear you. There's not enough hours in the day, it seems like. And I'm technically retired, but shoot, you don't think I've got so many things on my list? It's not even funny if the shit I've got to do.
Yeah.
It's like when did I have time to work full time? Like,
right. Exactly.
Yep.
Well, sorry, Brad. I guess we'll have to get your questions answered at some other point.
Yeah.
You managed to send them to you.
Yeah,
we'll send them to me.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. I got to add the sugar belt. I just realized I didn't have it in my list of upcoming events. So yeah, keep me in the loop, Blair. Let me know, like how things are going, and when you get things squared away. I just say I'd love to get back down to North Georgia. I haven't been in North Georgia mountains in 30 some years, and I loved it. Last time I was there, it was gorgeous. I enjoyed it very much. We did a bunch of, we hit wineries. That was where I got introduced to Chamberson.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a place that had a Chamberson wine that I fell in love with, and I bought everything they had left, which was most of a case.
Wow.
Yeah, and it took us like 10 years to drink all of that because we were like doling it out a little bit at a time. Now, can we open another bottle of Chamberson? Not yet. We just finished the last one. So, but yeah, John was mad at me when I brought it home and he tasted it, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is really good."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when I was in Helen for a dance conference, for a Scottish country dance conference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in Helena. So yeah, haven't been up there since then, and that was a very long time ago.
Yeah, still same small town, but obviously the outskirts have grown a little bit more.
Oh yeah. Well, it does that. We've got a little bit of that here too. Not much, but some, and it happens. You're just far enough away that they don't engulf you.
Right.
You won't turn into like Lawrenceville or something,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was astonished when I saw that last time. But and then say, we'll let you get on with things. It's 11 o'clock, so let you get on with things. And yeah, thank you for coming on, and it's good to catch up. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Take care, and I'll stay in touch. We'll make some things happen for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. You girls take care. Okay.
All right. Talk to you later, Blair.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, because Vicky's been a lazy butt. I can't tell you upcoming guests because I don't know yet. And as soon as I know, you'll know. But we have a lot of events coming. April 22nd, Captains on Main, Brighton, Michigan. Buzzin' and Bloomin' 2026, Mead, Music, and Earth Day vibes. April 23rd, Valhalla Meadery, Bozeman, Montana, Acoustic Jam. April 25th, Moondog Meadery, Durham, North Carolina, Modern Calligraphy for Beginners. April 25th, Manic Meadery, Crown Point, Indiana. It's raining cats and dogs. Make your own roundhouse sign. April 25th, Monks Meadery, Atlanta, Georgia. Meadery Meetup. April 26th, Opagard Meadery, Tukwila, Washington. The Spring Mead Fest with 8 local meaderies. April 26th, DeFrancesco Meadery in Wrightsville, Pennsylvania has an artist meetup. April 26th, Clear Skies Meadery, Rockville, Maryland has an acoustic jam. April 28th, Honeytree Meadery in Nashville, Tennessee has open mic night. April 30th, McAlpine Meadery in Beach City, Ohio has a 30-mile bike ride. May 6th, Wild Blossom Meadery in Chicago, Illinois. Optimo Swing Jazz. May 7th, Dancing Skeleton Meadery in Sapulpa, Oklahoma has trivia night. And I love this one. May 9th, Brimminghorn Meadery in Seaford, Delaware has the U.S. Wrestling Justice. U.S. Wrestling Organization doing a wrestling match at the meter. It's like, that's so cool. Whether you like wrestling or not, it's pretty cool. May 13th, Mead Hall, Charles, Missouri has acoustic jam. May 14th, Nucleus Mead, Linesville, Pennsylvania has a mead and read. May 15th is the Sugar Belt Mead Festival in Crown Point, Indiana. It's like 20 to 25 meaderies from all over the country. If you haven't been, you should think about it. May 21st, Standard Meadery, Villa Park, Illinois, has after-hours networking. And June 6th, the Firm Meadery in Houston, Texas, is doing Fire and Our Bones live music. And, of course, support your local meadery. If you don't have a local meadery or you just want to branch out, you can go to shopmeads.com and find meads from all over the country. Some really good stuff out there. Definitely take a look. And if you want to get your event on Got Mead Live, let us know at gotmead@gotmead.com, and we'll be happy to get you and your event on the show. No problem. In the meantime, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and be excellent to one another.
Night, everybody.
Night, all.